Ooh, Stadium Headliner's a good draw. Ooh, this one's also a really good draw. And May. All right, yeah, we're going with May for sure. We'll go ahead and make you sacrifice. Damn, these double Dark Confidants came in so clutch. Yeah, he gets rid of that one. I think we literally got the opponent. And then we go with the Stadium Headliner, and then we'll attack with all of our creatures. You only have 1 block, so this is 5 damage the opponent's taking. You absolutely have to unlock this to play a demon. I guess you would gain 2 life for that, but... Oh, Cecil blocking as well. Oh my gosh, guys, I forgot that interaction. So the opponent was down to 2 life. Cecil, with his 2 power, blocked one of our Dark Confidants. That counts as Cecil dealing damage. We can read it. Whenever Cecil deals damage, it can be to an opponent or it can be to a creature that they're blocking with. You will just lose 2 lives. His Overlord, that is an enchantment right now, will come online as well. So then we can't really attack on the ground, but we do have 4 damage in the air. And we can force him to sack 1 creature. I mean, at this point, it's probably the Gene Pollinator. It's just the Craterhoof Behemoth. I don't think that was the play, my friend. Wow. This is the second game in the row that the opponent could have played the Arden. Last turn, the game before, the opponent could have reanimated their Arden. This turn, he had 8 mana for sure because he played Craterhoof Behemoth, so we know he has 8 mana. I don't get why these guys are not playing Arden. And again, he could have pulled back his Overlord. That one can swing through for 5 damage and gain them 5 life. This Overlord will come online, so then we can't attack on the ground with these creatures. Ay, guys. I mean, I'll take these wins, especially against this graveyard stuff. We're down to 1 HP in a dream. I just noticed that. Maybe the opponent miscalculated, but yeah, keep your backhand strong. Get this graveyard trash out of my face. GG. Hey there, neighbor, and welcome to another MTG Arena Standard video. The title of today's deck is the Mai Tai because it's a really, really good drink, but the creature that we're playing with today is May, the Scornful Striker. For 2 mana, we get a legendary creature, 2 power, 2 toughness with First Strike, which is really nice, and it says whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life. This essentially means that all of our creatures and us ourselves as well have ward paid 2 life if the opponent wants to target us in any way or target our creatures in any way, which is really, really nice. This is a symmetrical effect because it does say whenever a player, so that does include us as well, casts a non-creature spell. So we have crafted our entire deck today to be nothing but creature spells. So we have not really much interaction with the opponent. No kill spells, no discard spells to an extent. But yeah, that's what we're going with. May, the Scornful Striker. I think this is a really, really good ability. It reminds me a little tiny bit of Thalia. For those of you guys who do know Thalia, it's 2 mana, 1 generic, and 1 white. She is 2 power, 1 toughness with First Strike, and she says non-creature spells cost 1 generic mana more. That might be a little bit better, just because that's a pretty brutal tax effect. But honestly, having to pay 2 life, or if they do want to cast a non-creature spell, that in some decks that can be really, really backbreaking. If they're just playing, you know, some planeswalkers that don't necessarily remove creatures right away, or if they're playing a few enchantments that maybe just pump their creatures up and don't necessarily remove May, that can really, really be pretty taxing as well. So May, one of the new cards from the Avatar set is who we're checking out. And another legendary creature we're checking out as well is Zhao, the Moonslayer, for 2 mana. A 2 power, 2 toughness creature with Menace. And Zhao says that non-basic lands enter tapped, which is a really nice way of slowing the opponent down. And again, this is a symmetrical effect, so all of our non-basic lands will come in tapped as well, which is a little bit unfortunate. That's why we're running a little bit of a higher density of the basic swamps and basic mountains. But then another really cool thing with Zhao is if we do work our way up to 7 mana, we can spend 7 mana and we can put a Conqueror counter on Zhao. And as long as he has a Conqueror counter on him, all non-basic lands are mountains. So this is essentially Blood Moon in Standard. For those of you guys that play Timeless, you guys, of course, do know Blood Moon. 3 mana enchantment that just has that text right there. It's an amazing card. Of course, Zhao, you have to play him as the creature first and then eventually work your way up to 7 mana, so not quite as good as Blood Moon, but that effect is really, really good, and we'll see if we can pull it off today because it would be really, really cool. And then finally, the last new creature that we're going with is Zuko, the Exiled Prince. For 4 mana, we get a 4 power, 3 toughness creature, and he has the mechanic of Firebending 3. So we get to add 3 floating mana whenever we attack with Zuko. We do lose that mana as the attack step phases out, but we can spend 3 mana to exile the top card of our library, and then we can play that card this turn as well. But if we do have Zhao on the battlefield, and then we play Zuko on turn 4, and then on turn 5 we go to the attack steps, maybe we missed a land drop, so we're stuck with just 4 lands. Zuko gets to attack, he adds Firebending 3, so then we will have 7 mana total. So then we could potentially go with the Conquer counter on Zhao as well. And since we're going with a Rakdos build, so black and red, we're playing some pretty low to the ground creatures as well that do have a lot of really, really good value. So very quickly, we're playing with Cecil the Dark Knight. For 1 mana, we get a 2 power, 3 toughness creature, and he has Death Touch as well. Whenever we attack, the opponent loses, or whenever we deal damage, it can also be to a creature that they chump block with, then we'll be losing 2 life, because we lose life equal to Cecil's tough or power. And then if we have 10 life or less, we can untap Cecil and transform him into the Redeemed Paladin, who is a 4/4 with lifelink. We're playing with the Stadium Headliner. For 1 red mana, we get this Goblin Warrior, and here's where we can potentially remove a opponent's creature. It is a little bit of a convoluted way to do it, but for 2 extra mana, we can sacrifice this creature, and then it will deal damage equal to the total number of creatures we control to a target creature that the opponent controls. So of course you want to build up your board state so that you have, maybe 3 or 4 creatures on the battlefield, so that you could ping one of the opponent's creatures for 3 or 4 damage as well. We're going with the Dark Confidant. For 2 mana. We get a 2 power, 1 toughness creature. We get to draw an extra card at the beginning of our upstep, or of our upkeep, but we do lose life equal to that card's mana value. So as you guys can see, we are playing with mainly 1, 2, and 3 drops. We do have 1 4-drop and 1 5-drop in the Nova Hellkite. Deep-Cavern Bat to take a peek at the opponent's hand and take maybe a crucial removal card or a board wipe away from them. So that is how we can get a little bit of hand hate. And then we have the Gatekeeper as well. For 2 black mana, we get a 2 power, 2 toughness creature, but we can spend 1 extra kicker. And if we do pay that kicker cost, then the opponent has to sacrifice a creature of their choice. So another tiny little bit of removal right there as well. The Timeline Culler. For 2 mana, we get a hasty 2 power, 2 toughness creature. We can also just spend 1 mana to warp this guy out, and then we pay 2 life as well. We're going with the Qarsi Revenant. For 3 mana, we get a 3/3 vampire with flying, lifelink, and death touch. So that's a way that we can gain some life to maybe help us stabilize. And he has death touch as well, which can be used to block a really big creature that the opponent might have as well. And then we're going with Alesha, who laughs at fate. For 3 mana, we get a 2 power, 2 toughness creature with first strike. And whenever Alesha attacks, we put a +1/+1 counter on her. And then at the beginning of our end step, if we attacked this turn, we do get to return a creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. It is equal to Alesha's power. So she starts with 2 powers, so we can get basically most of our creatures back. I guess if we attack with her, we go up to 3 powers, so then we can pull back the Qarsi Revenant. And that's basically all the creatures in our deck. We've already been over Zuko, the Exiled Prince, and I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the Nova Hellkite. He is in the 5 mana slot, but of course you can warp him out for 3 mana, and then he gains haste. He has flying, he attacks in, he pings one of the opponent's creatures for 1 damage, so if they do have a 1 toughness creature, we can remove it that way as well. Deal 4 damage to the opponent, and then he goes into our exile zone, where we can play him later on for 5 mana as well. So yeah, that's the deck we're going with today. I really want to try out Mei, the Scornful Striker, as well as Zhao, the Moonslayer. So let's just jump into some games and see how this all-creature deck performs for us. I'll see you guys there. All right, guys, we get to go first. I'm not the biggest fan of these creatures, honestly, but I guess we'll keep it and go ahead and get down the starting town on turn 1. Starting town on turn 1, and let's see what the opponent's working with. Oh, mono black. It's mono black discard, which it is, and it can go after our creatures, which really sucks. Oh, I think he takes Alesha. If we could draw May, that would be really, really nice. Ooh, Deep-Cavern Bat is probably the second best draw for us. I guess Dark Confidant would also be really good. All right, we take 1 Strategic Betrayal. He just gets that one back. I think we take Strategic Betrayal, even though he is going to get it back. Then we could go with the Qarsi Revenant. Hope he uses the other Strategic Betrayal on that one. And then we can go with Alesha, who can at least pull stuff back from the graveyard. But yeah, this will be a pretty difficult matchup. This will be a pretty difficult matchup. An opponent doesn't do anything. That's not instant speed. So we'll go with the Qarsi Revenant for sure. And then we will attack with the Deep-Cavern Bat. There is definitely some instant speed interaction that the opponent has. It is a Bitter Triumph. So I guess he will be able to remove the Qarsi Revenant from our graveyard, which is unfortunate. Cecil. Oh, Cecil has 3 toughness. Oh, but we got to put a +1 on Alesha. I think the opponent should definitely go with the Strategic Betrayal right now. If he drew a land, I don't think the Unholy Annex is the play, even though that will give them quite a bit of card draw. He's going to gift us a card, and I guess he takes Alesha. That is unfortunate. We could go with Zuko then. Maybe we go with the Zuko, and then we can maybe go with the Qarsi Revenant. I guess he can play that now. All right, let's go with Zuko. I guess I should have... Oh wait, Zuko was 4 mana, so we had no way of playing the Stadium Headliner. All right, well, we're not going to give him back the Deep-Cavern Bat. Dark Confidant is an amazing pickup right there, and the Stadium Headliner is another really good draw. So we can keep punching in with the Bat, and the Dark Confidant for some card draw will be really nice. An opponent has actually missed a lot of land drops. I just noticed that. Misses another one, so he kept the 2-lander. That's pretty brutal. That is pretty brutal. Oh, and we draw a land. You love when that happens. You hate to see a double land draw, though. Stadium Headliner, attack in, have 3 creatures, and we could remove Cecil that way. I think we'll do it. So attack in, we have 3 creatures, we sack this, we have 4 creatures, but we have to sack this one first, so we go down to 3 creatures. You always have to keep that in mind with the Stadium Headliner. So yeah, that allowed us to attack in with the Dark Confidant, and I mean, now if the opponent plays Unholy Annex, then yeah, you are losing 2 life for that. I guess he can play our own creature. That's kind of annoying with the Clue Claw Heist, or whatever that one card is called. But yeah, opponent's in a little bit of a tough situation. He does go with the Unstoppable Slasher. We found our own Cecil, which is amazing. So let's just get these cards down. We will just get these cards down for sure. And we'll just attack with the Bat. We'll get a double card draw off the Dark Confidant. So opponent's down to 9. And do you play the Unholy Annex? That would put you down to 7. No, he just goes with his own Cecil. And the opponent... Are you going to attack in with the Unstoppable Slasher? Ooh, he plays the Unholy Annex. So he's going down to 7. We can attack with the Bat for 6. And then we have 2 creatures getting through. Ooh, Stadium Headliner's a good draw. Ooh, this one's also a really good draw. And May. All right, yeah, we're going with May for sure. We'll go ahead and make you sacrifice. Damn, these double Dark Confidants came in so clutch. Yeah, he gets rid of that one. I think we literally got the opponent. And then we go with the Stadium Headliner, and then we'll attack with all of our creatures. You only have 1 block, so this is 5 damage the opponent's taking. You absolutely have to unlock this to play a demon. I guess you would gain 2 life for that, but... Oh, Cecil blocking as well. Oh my gosh, guys, I forgot that interaction. So the opponent was down to 2 life. Cecil, with his 2 power, blocked one of our Dark Confidants. That counts as Cecil dealing damage. We can read it. Whenever Cecil deals damage, it can be to an opponent or it can be to a creature that they're blocking with. You will just lose 2 life. So yeah, the opponent was losing 2 life. Let's imagine that he wasn't losing 2 life for that. He would be down to 2 HP. Technically the Cecil wouldn't flip then, because it's that line of text is all one thing. Then if your life total, it says whenever Cecil deals damage, and then if your life total is less than 10, because he was already lower than 10 and Cecil didn't flip last turn. So if the Cecil did not deal 2 damage to himself, with May on the battlefield, the opponent would be down to 2 HP. There's no way he could play a removal spell. He cannot play this Unholy Annex. So literally his only play would be to unlock this Ritual Chamber. He would not be able to attack with his Cecil. The Unstoppable Slasher is still tapped down for a turn. He would gain 2 life, because he technically would have a demon, so he would go up to 4. But we just have so much damage coming through. Let's absolutely go. GG. All right, guys. Opponent gets to go first. We can definitely keep this hand. We do have 3 lands. Question is, which one do we get down on turn 1 and turn 2? Because Restless Vents always comes in tap, but we won't take any damage from it. Multiversal Passage. We do have to spend 2 mana to shock it in. And, of course, Starting Town. We do have to get down before turn 3. So... I could see an argument for Starting Town into Multiversal Passage. Opponent on a fully colorless deck, so they're playing Ugin. They might be playing with the Planetarium. I'm looking to build the deck with that card as well. So, yeah, we will have to go kind of quickly. Finding May would be really nice, because whenever they play a non-creature spell, they would lose 2 life. Blazemire Verge is actually really nice, so I think we'll go with that one, and then we can get Cecil down. And then we could go with Starting Town and get down the Dark Confidant. But we will see what the opponent goes with. Probably another colorless land, I would imagine. Yeah, the Soulstone Sanctuary. So they're for sure playing a fully colorless deck. They go with the Maze Mind Tome. That one has some scrying capability, and same with the Candy Trail. So I'm pretty sure they are playing with the Planetarium. So we will have to maybe try and go kind of quickly. They do have some life gain with the Maze Mind Tome and the Candy Trail as well. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Gonna go ahead and lose 2 life. Opponent's gonna scry with the Maze Mind Tome. And then, do we get down Restless Vents and go with the Gatekeeper? Or do we shock in the Multiversal Passage and get down the Gatekeeper and the Stadium Headliner just to maybe push as much damage through as possible? I think we'll maybe go with that. Alesha could also deal 3 damage as well. The Raid mechanic. We also get to draw. Ooh, Blazemire Verge. That doesn't produce any red for us, but the Starting Town does. So I think we will go with this one, and I do kind of want to get down Alesha. And then I guess we go with the Restless Vents next turn. That one is also a creature. It can at least be turned into a creature. All right, and we can go to attack steps. Bop the opponent for 4. They're going to sack the Candy Trail to gain 3 life, so we're just dealing 1 damage to them. And we will lose 2 life ourselves. There goes the Candy Trail. So yeah, they're back up to 17, draw a card, and with the Maze Mind Tome, they look to scry. Do they like what they find? No, they ship it to the bottom. Turn 4, we could see the Hedron Archive come out, and then that would put them up to 6 mana for the next turn, of course. They drop that one off. So yeah, some of these lands can help them scry as well. It's just another candy trail, so no massive ramp, which I'm happy with. Of course, the candy trail does give them some life gain, kind of will blank our creature, but then we're still dealing 4 damage. So I can dig it. Get some extra card draw as well. I mean, drawing May would be really nice. Unfortunately, it's Zuko and there's May as well. So I think what I'm going to do... and then double black for the Gatekeeper. Honestly, we might save the Gatekeeper. There could be a chance that he's playing Sire of 7 Deaths, or maybe a Summon Bahamut. That would be the one creature that they would get off the Planetarium. So I think we'll actually save the Gatekeeper, and then we can just finally get down the Restless Vents and use Starting Town to give 1 red mana to us right now. And then, yeah, they play a lot of cards that are non-creature spells and that will deal damage to them without really impacting our creatures too much. So I actually really like the position we're in. Gonna go ahead and deal 3 damage to the opponent right there. He probably sacks the Candy Trail, though. And we finally get to flip Cecil as well. So he's going to draw a card. Next turn, he'll gain 4 life from this one and the Candy Trail. So they have 7 life with all of this right here. There's the Hedron Archive. So they will lose 2 life for that. And then this, ooh, that does cost 2 mana, but they do have the 2 mana right there. So I think they're going to go ahead and activate it right away. Yeah, so they are up to 11, but I think we got him. Because he played this land, entered this turn. Next card he plays, he's going to lose 2 life. So the opponent's down to 9. Cecil's doing 4. Plus 2, plus 3. Yeah, we got the opponent. We can even take a peek at their hand with the Bat and then warp out the Nova Hellkite. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's see if he's playing with the Planetarium. Well, he does get to gain 4 life. An opponent did not want us to see their hand. Guys, I guarantee you he's playing with the Planetarium or with Ugin at the very least. But again, like I said, if he plays Ugin next turn, he will have to take 2 damage. So he's down to 9. Put a page counter. And then if it's 4... Okay, so I guess technically he could scry with this one. Gains 4 life. So let's say the opponent's up to 15. With the Bat, we can take away Ugin or his Planetarium, but then next card he plays next turn, he's losing 2 life, so he would go down from 15 to 13, and then how much damage are we dealing right here? 4 plus 2, so that's 6. I think Alesha would get another plus 1, so she'd be dealing 4 damage. So that's 10 damage right there, plus the 2 from May. So, oh, and the Stadium Headliner's attacking as well for 2 more as well. So yeah, we got the opponent for sure, and that was a really clean game. Opponent didn't really have any interaction on our part, but again, and May came down kind of late, honestly. We just had her down for a turn. Imagine if we got her down on turn 2, playing the Maze Mind Tome, Hedron Archive, all of these Candy Trails that he played. He would be taking 2 damage from all of those as well. So, yeah, really, really clean game right there. GG. All right, guys, we get to go first, and we have 2 Maze. I absolutely love it. Multiversal Passage can come down on red. Enters tapped, so we don't even need to take any damage for it. And, I mean, for sure, we'll get down May, the Scornful Striker. And if the opponent wants to fire off a kill spell, yeah, they'll have to take 2 damage. Which it looks like they might be doing right away. There is nowhere to run. Go ahead and take 2 damage for that, and we'll just get down another one next turn. Could honestly go with the Deep-Cavern Bat, just to look at their hand. Do we need double red for anything? I don't think so. So I think, well, we have a swamp right there. This one can come in. Let's go with the Bat just to see how many kill spells the opponent has. Oh, and it's the Bloodletter of Aclazot's combo. So let's think about this. His Bat, well, we can actually make him sack something with that. So yeah, let's take the Bloodletter of Aclazot's. And then next turn, we might actually get down Alesha. Lesha. Because the opponent... Oh, well, we actually don't have the triple black for the sack ability from the Gatekeeper. So I think we do get down... Well, I was going to say... Alesha, but the opponent takes that one from us, which is fine. So we'll go with May, and then we'll go ahead and say no attacks right there. I guess the opponent's going to get down. Of course, he has another one. That is unfortunate. So now he does take our Gatekeeper away from us. An opponent should attack in, because I think the Bloodletter's a really good creature. Ooh, Nova Hellkite. That is just an insane draw right now. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll pop your bat right here. And then we can attack in with these two. Opponent's going to take 6 damage. They could, of course, block with their Deep-Cavern Bat, but then we get our creature back. So opponent's down to 12, and we'll go ahead and end the turn. And, I mean, next turn we have 5 mana anyway, so we can just play out the Nova Hellkite to take out your Deep-Cavern Bat, which I think is what we'll do. Multiversal Passage. 3. You know what? Let's get this one down on... Well, that is a 4 toughness creature. Let's pay 2 life. You know what? I think we get down the Nova Hellkite. So I guess we didn't need to shock that one in. And then we'll blast that one right there. We get our creature back. And then we can attack with the Nova Hellkite. The life link on that Aklazotz is a little bit annoying. But next turn, if he does not have a creature, we can go with the Gatekeeper. We have to discard a card? Ooh. No blocks from us. Opponent gains 4 life. And that was it? Okay. So opponent is forced to sacrifice this creature. So you can go ahead and sack that. It does transform into a land, but that's fine. And then here comes Cecil. And then smack the opponent for 7. So opponent is down to 6. And if they want to play any kill spells, then they will have to pay 2 life. So they'll be down to 4. That creature is tapped, so we can transform this one. And I'm pretty sure that is a fat GG, my friend. So yeah, here opponent, unlike the previous game, was playing with a lot of creatures. He only played Nowhere to Run, just that one turn to get rid of our first May. But, I mean, yeah, really, really clean game all around. There we saw... We do have a little bit of interaction, even if it does come in the form of creatures, with Nova Hellkite being able to pop a creature for 1, the Gatekeeper with the 4 sacrifice, and the Deep-Cavern Bat for a little tiny bit of hand hate. So, yeah, GG. All right, guys, we got to go first, and this is an insane opening hand. Cecil on turn 1, May on turn 2. Maybe if the opponent is looking to play a lot of different colors, then we can get Zhao on turn 2. So, I can dig it. Blazemire Verge does produce the black that we need. So here comes Cecil. We also have Alesha on turn 3. If we do hit the land drop, of course, and it's looking like mono-white life gain. I mean, they play a ton of creatures as well. So unfortunately, I think May is probably the play. I don't think Zhao will be too impactful. And the life gain will be maybe a little bit difficult to race with. Especially because they'll be gaining life, we'll be losing life. Hopefully we can get down the Qarsi Revenant. And I mean, opponent's going to play a Johnny. And then we can't even attack with May, which is unfortunate. We can get down Qarsi Revenant, though. Let's go with black, pay 2 life. All right, so opponent definitely can't attack in the air anymore. They probably do have a Sheltered by Ghosts, is what I would imagine. And yeah, they just play a ton of creatures. Johnny goes up to 4. Nova Hellkite to actually blast one of his creatures for 1. I can dig it. We'll get rid of one of the Healer's Pigeons. And then these 2 creatures will attack. Oh, he's sacking that one. Let's go. So we're going to be able to flip Cecil, which is really nice. Not going to be able to attack with him anymore because he actually loses Death Touch, which is unfortunate. That is honestly a little bit unfortunate. Cat Collector. Create a food token, and whenever you gain life, create a cat token, I believe. But yeah, opponent does not want to sacrifice his Johnny. which I can understand. Zuko. Honestly, I think we get down Alesha. And then, I mean, yeah, it's kind of just a standoff. If we attack with the Qarsi Revenant, let's do it. Then we don't have a Death Toucher, so his Ajani is free to attack through. Could choose to block with May. Hopefully we draw a land, so we can go with Nova Hellkite. That's an interesting attack, I guess, just to gain so much life. Yeah, this life gain, pretty difficult to deal with. We'll definitely take out your Cat Collector, and then we'll blank that one, and we'll take out the Vanguard. So, a little bit of a risky attack from the opponent. I mean, he did lose 2 creatures right now. And we do draw that one, so here comes the Nova Hellkite. And then we can pop this one, and then we actually are free to attack with everyone. But whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. I don't think he'll be able to deal 15 damage. All right, I'm just sending it, guys. Full send. Put a +1. Oh, we actually even get one of our creatures back as well, which is really nice. So we will have a blocker. Wait, does the Nova Hellkite not deal 1 damage to something? I don't know why it didn't. All right, yeah, we do have May as a blocker, which is really nice. Opponent could, of course, play Sheltered by Ghosts. No, he's going to play a creature now. Yeah, it's the Essence Channeler. Gain 1 life. Those 2 get pumped up. We're up to 22 life. Oh, because of these 2 having lifelink, which is really nice. I mean, yeah, the opponent just has so much life gain. It's kind of crazy. 15. Take 18 damage. I think we get rid of the cat. Yes, let's absolutely go, guys. Beat a life gain deck. Yes. GG. Keep your backhand strong. Let's get this life gain trash out of my face. Bop. Get him out of here. GG. All right, guys. Opponent gets to go first, but I mean, we could warp out the Timeline Culler and go with May, Scornful Striker, so I can dig it. Yeah, we are up against Mono Black. I still think we warp out the Timeline Culler. Go ahead and take 2 damage for that. And then, I mean, if they do have a lot of discard spells, then maybe the Dark Confidant is the play. But at the same time, if they're leaning hard into the discard side of things, which it does look like it, we can drop off the Stadium Headliner. Then I guess maybe May might be a little bit of a better play. And I should have definitely played the Swamp. Then we wouldn't have had to take 1 unnecessary damage. But it's fine. Opponent probably has some kill spells. We do take 2 damage for that, which is really nice. And is there a kill spell? There is. Heartless Act. So again, lose 2 more life. And I guess we'll get down the Dark Confidant. But at the same time, Deep-Cavern Bat to take a peek at their hand could be kind of nice. So I think we'll do that. Let's see what the opponent's working with. Day of Black Sun, so we'll take that one for sure. Rise of Sozin also gets to remove something. So he's going with the Bandit's Talent next turn. We'll definitely take Day of Black Sun. And I guess we can get rid of Cecil. And then next turn we play Dark Confidant. 3, 4. This is 4 mana though. Bandit's Talent. Get rid of the Nova Hellkite. Even though we can warp that one in. All right, let's... Oh, we have to discard 2 cards from Bandit's Talent. I forgot, man. That is such a busted card. Aye. All right, that is really unfortunate. We're losing 4 life, plus some damage from Cecil. Guess we can get this guy out, though. We do get 1 life gain. The opponent's down to 9. We do get to flip Cecil. Opponent won't have 6 mana available. And now we can start gaining some life. May's Mind Tome. Yeah, if he literally only had that 1 removal spell for May. Imagine if we had maybe played the Bat first. He used his removal card for that. Oh, guys, that would have been so nice. But alas, it isn't meant to be. Our creatures gain indestructible. Well, we get 5 life gain because the Bat does have some life gain as well. So we're up to 10. Opponent's down to 2. Gonna put a page counter on there, looking for a land, but still, this is 3 plus this one is 4. You don't have 6 mana, my friend. I guess he's looking for a Day of Black Sun. 2, do it for 2. A Painful Quandary, yeah, that's not it, my friend. GG, yes, another one. Got it over the line and got it done pretty quickly against another mono black discard deck. So, and guys, I want to reiterate it. If they weren't able to remove our May so early with Heartless Act, then they did take 2 damage for that one and 2 damage from the Heartless Act. So May did do 4 damage to them, but he would have taken another 6 damage from these 3 cards right there. And Day of Black Sun is the one we removed. So yeah, May, I really, really like this creature. Let's absolutely go. All right, guys, opponent gets to go first. They did take a mulligan. We can keep this hand. Unfortunately, we can't get the Stadium Headliner on turn 1 because the Blazemire Verge only produces black. At least on turn 1, it will. I mean, we are going second, so there's a chance that we draw a Mountain or a Starting Town or Multiversal Passage. 2, 4, 6. All right, an opponent is working with the Badger Mole Cub, and I mean, if we were going first, we could have maybe taken it from them. Ooh, Town Greeter. Okay, I take that back. So he's looking to do some graveyard shenanigans. So I still think taking a peek at their hand will be the play. Oh, and it is a Badger Mole Cub. It's also a Zombify. What can Zombify get back? I guess an Overlord, and that is a little bit of a problem. That one taps for mana. That one doesn't. Honestly, I don't know which creature is the bigger problem. Badger Mole Cub. I think it honestly is Badger Mole Cub, as crazy as that sounds. Have to take the 2 mana creature and let him go with the Zombify. Especially because he finds the Dredger's Insight. Oh, and I mean, yeah, we made the wrong choice, but that does happen. So he's going to get back Arden and then pull back the Overlord. Aye. That absolutely sucks for us, but we can maybe at least make him pay a little bit of life. But I mean, Arden, yeah, he's just going to get a hasty Arden. Oh. He goes with that one first. That does count as a creature. Oh my gosh, guys, we got really lucky. I'm not going to deny that, but I don't know why he didn't play the Zombify. I mean, I guess he is pretty close to being able to cast the Craterhoof Behemoth, but we could blow up his Elf next turn. That would at least set him back 1 mana. He's up to 6 right now. Heritage Reclamation to pull that card back. We draw a card. All right, so for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Could also just force him to sacrifice something. I guess we'll do that. Then we get a creature on the board as well. Or sacrifice. So you are down 1 more creature. This is 8 mana, right? So he has 7 mana right now. He's losing 1 creature. Oh, okay. I'm kind of glad you sacked that creature because we can't choose to attack with our Stadium Headliner then. So opponent is only up to 6 mana right now, and he's down to 10 life. We're going to blow up your Land War Elf this turn. 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, that's only 7 mana, and again, we would be blowing up one of those Land War Elves. I'll be honest, guys, I don't think we should have won that game because the one turn that... I guess he played the Enduring Vitality. He could have played Zombify. He could have brought back his Arden. Arden would be able to pull back another creature at the beginning of combat. You get to exile a creature, so he'd take the Overlord of the Baelmerk. That creature becomes a 5/5 demon with lifelink and menace. So then, yeah, he would just have his Overlord attacking. So I don't know why he didn't go with that play line, but I mean, hey, when your opponents misplay, you can take advantage of it and get a clean victory. GG. All right, guys. We get to go first. Really, really like the hand that we have. I think this one does have to come down on red, though, but it can enter tap. And we can either go with the Bat, or we can go with May. Depending on what the opponent is playing. Golgari. You know what? Let's take a peek at their hand first. They might have some kill spells. Ooh. We literally just played against this deck. Is it the same person? I don't think it is, but for sure we take the Badger Mole Cub. And then next turn, I guess we do get down May. Foggy Swamp Visions doesn't really do much for you. Can that exile your own graveyard? Yes, it can. So I guess, well, there is a Badger Mole Cub. Dark Confidant. For the card draw would be nice, but I think we go with May. Oh, I'm an idiot. Should have warped out the Timeline Culler. That's my bad. I guess if he goes with the Mole, he has 2 mana to work with. Hopefully he doesn't have a 2 mana play. We can go ahead and blow the land up. I know it does return as a land. Town Greeter, that does kind of suck. Mill some cards. What did he put there? Honestly, nothing too amazing. So hopefully we draw a land so we can warp out the Timeline Culler and go with the Nova Hellkite. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, but for sure we'll go with the Nova Hellkite and we can blow up the land. I know it comes back as a land, but at least it's not a creature land, so it doesn't produce 2 mana from the Mole, and then we can just attack with everyone. May has First Strike, which is really nice. So this is 7 damage. And, I mean, we did remove one of their creatures, so that was a pretty good turn for us. That was a pretty good turn for us. Gene Pollinator, that one can tap to add 2 mana. And I guess making him sacrifice with that one is a little bit useless. The Qarsi Revenant is a pretty good draw for us. And again, we are free to attack in. Opponent probably just goes with Arden and he pulls back the Overlord though. So that is unfortunate. So let's see. 2, 4, 6. He has 7 mana to work with. I guess it's just another Town Greeter. Interesting. No massive creature in the graveyard. I guess Foggy Swamp Visions for 3. Can only do that for 2 though. Well, you can maybe Waterbend 2. Ooh, Zhao. I don't think that really helps us. Honestly, do we warp this one out for 1? I think we do. Let's warp this one out, and then we will get down the Dark Confidant, and then we will just attack with everyone. This is a decent amount of damage. Opponent, yeah, does have some pretty good chump blockers. Opponent is down to 7. We are up to 25. He has no flyers. So again, he has 7 mana. This is 8. So yeah, now he plays Arden and he pulls back the Overlord. That one can swing through for 5 damage. His Overlord that is an enchantment right now will come online as well. So then we can't really attack on the ground, but we do have 4 damage in the air. And we can force him to sack 1 creature. I mean, at this point, it's probably the Gene Pollinator. It's just the Craterhoof Behemoth. I don't think that was the play, my friend. Wow. This is the second game in the row that the opponent could have played the Arden. Last turn, the game before, the opponent could have reanimated their Arden. This turn, he had 8 mana for sure because he played Craterhoof Behemoth, so we know he has 8 mana. I don't get why these guys are not playing Arden. And again, he could have pulled back his Overlord. That one can swing through for 5 damage and gain them 5 life. This Overlord will come online, so then we can't attack on the ground with these creatures. Ay, guys. I mean, I'll take these wins, especially against this graveyard stuff. We're down to 1 HP in a dream. I just noticed that. Maybe the opponent miscalculated. But yeah, keep your backhand strong. Get this graveyard trash. Bap. Out of my face. GG. Hey there, neighbor, and welcome to the post-game wrap. We looked at the Mai Tai deck playing May Scornful Striker. She was the main card that I wanted to play with today, and man, she definitely put in work in this. I think there were a few games. The opponents took a little bit of damage playing some non-creature cards. There was the first game we played actually against the... I'm pretty sure it was the Planetarium. They were playing nothing but colorless spells. probably working their way up to either the Planetarium or Ugin. And eventually we did draw May, but it was kind of towards the end of the game when we had already beaten them down a little bit. I think in another game, we played against an Unholy Annex deck. Opponent got a little bit unlucky that they didn't draw their third land drop for, I think, 2, maybe even 3 turns. And then we were able to beat them down. And it was actually their own Cecil that finished them off, which was really funny because they blocked with him. But we had a May on the battlefield, and I think I walked through the math in that game as well, where if the opponent... I think they literally only had one play pattern they could have gone with, which was to unlock the Holy Annex and then gain 2 life, so they would go up to 4, but they'd have to pass it back to our turn, and we just had such a wide board state that we'd be able to finish them off, again, thanks to May, opponents not being able to cast non-creature spells without taking the 2 life penalty, which is just really, really nice. And in a few other games, I think we played against a mono-black discard deck where... yeah, they did remove our May, and I think they took 4 damage because they played the Soul Stone first, took 2 damage for that, and then they played Heartless Act. So yeah, May just pinging the opponent for 4 right there is really, really good. So this is a really, really good creature. Really, really like that she also has First Strike. That comes in clutch quite a bit as well. And then another new card that we wanted to try out today was Zhao, the Moonslayer, and unfortunately this guy, did we even play him? I think in one of the games, I think we could have played him. Maybe we did play him as well, but it was kind of towards the end of the game. Anyway, I think this guy has a lot more impact early on when you play him. And a lot of the decks we played today were monocolor decks. There was the mono white life gain, and I think we played against 3 mono black decks. So then, of course, Zhao doesn't really have the biggest impact because, I mean, it just says non-basic lands enter tapped. You really have to be playing against someone who's playing 2... ideally 3 colors, because 3 color decks really don't play that many basics. And again, this is a symmetrical effect, so actually all of these lands for us will come in tapped as well. So I think Zhao probably fits better in a mono red deck. I'll probably try and build a mono red deck with him as well, just because that effect is really, really cool, the Blood Moon effect, and it is a really, really nice way to tax opponents that are maybe being a little bit greedy with their mana base as well. So I don't think Zhao was the best creature in this deck. Let's go ahead and put all of our lands back. And then every other creature we've seen: Cecil, Stadium Headliner, Dark Confidant, Deep-Cavern Bat, Timeline Culler, Qarsi Revenant, Nova Hellkite, we'll put him in the 3 mana slot. Even Alesha, you'll see every once in a while. Gatekeeper, a little bit more of a niche card, but I think he came into play in a few of the games as well. So all this creature package, honestly, really, really good. With the exception of Zhao, like I said, I don't think he's maybe the best in this deck. And honestly, Zuko, Exiled Prince for 4 mana. You just get a 4/3 with Firebending 3. I said in the deck intro that we could maybe use that Firebending 3 to put the, or pay for the 7 mana cost to put the Conqueror counter on Zhao, but that never really came into play either. So I think you could honestly cut these 5 cards right here, and yeah, maybe go up 2 copies of Nova Hellkite. It's just such a good creature, so that's 2 copies right there. Maybe another copy of Qarsi Revenant, that's 3. And then, honestly, maybe another Timeline Culler and another Cecil. Those are just such good cards. And I think overall, the deck would be quite a bit better than as well. Also, with the Dark Confidant, you wouldn't take 4 damage from Zuko. You could, of course, take 5 damage from Nova Hellkite. But again, it's just such a good creature that I think is worth it. And I will say a little tiny bit drawback from this deck is you do have just a ton of kind of weaker creatures. I mean, 2 power. I guess Qarsi Revenant is 3. Alesha can be 3 if you attack with her, but overall, pretty weak creatures, but you are able to race decently quickly. And again, if you play May, opponent takes 2 life for that as well. Deep-Cavern Bat to take a peek at the opponent's hand. Cecil and the Qarsi Revenant have Death Touch, and we saw in the mono white life gain deck the opponent did not want to attack with their Ajani. So yeah, overall, really, really fun deck. A lot of nice creatures that put in a ton of work, and what I kind of like about this is we don't really have any interaction, no way of kind of hard disrupting the opponent. It is just kind of our creatures, put them on the battlefield and smash face, and yeah, we did really, really good today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the games that you saw today. If you made it this far into the video, please consider subscribing. It does help me out tremendously. And I'm just going to end it like I always end it. I love you guys. Peace out.